When I walked into the museum, I was greeted by a giant, colossal blue whale. What I found most interesting about this was that you could see its tiny hind limbs, which are remarkable as they are evidence of its ancient quadruped stance, dating back to Ambulocetus and Pachycetus. The first dinosaur we see is a Mantellisaurus, and what's incredible is that the dinosaur spent over 80 years known to the world as a species of iguanodon, only recently claiming its true identity, Mantellisaurus. This dinosaur is made up to 90% real bone, and is one of the most complete British dinosaurs. It's incredible to think that these reptiles actually roamed the planet. The world must have been shocked to find out that the world was once dominated by giant, monstrous reptiles. Then we see an adorable Patagosaurus who moves. An interesting fact about Patagosaurus is it is one of the most basal known ceratopsians. It's an early ancestor of Triceratops, and it's one of the best reconstructed dinosaurs in the world. Look at the sheer size of this Gallimimus too, which lived in the Cretaceous period along with the T-Rex. And here is the T-Rex, which famously hunted them in Jurassic Park. Then we see a Pachycephalosaurus skull with very intricate skin details and its dome. An Ankylosaurus club, which is a bony mass at the end of its tail. These structures are uncommon in nature, with only glyptodons and a group of extinct turtles knowing to have evolved them. We see the fossilized horns of a Triceratops and many dinosaur teeth, such as Tyrannosaurus, Daspletosaurus, and Megalosaurus. On the left, we see an iguanodon thumb spike, which was a straight stabbing weapon, while the sharp curved Torvosaurus claw was used to hold and slash. Look how cool this group of dromaeosaurids in the ceiling is. They have a huge stegosaur in the ceiling called Kentrosaurus, which name means sharp-pointed lizard. I actually have 2 figures of this guy at home. Here we have an absolutely awesome skull of the Cretaceous hadrosaur Parasaurolophus. It could walk on either 2 or 4 legs. Its name means near-crested lizard. It is often hypothesized that it used its crest as a chamber to produce low-frequency sounds to alert other members of its species. We have a nice skull here belonging to the medium-sized ceratopsian called Kentrosaurus. The Kentrosaurus, which lived 70 million years ago, is the first known example of a dinosaur afflicted with cancer, as the malformation in the bone indicates. One of the coolest things that I witnessed was this animatronic T-Rex. It was very lifelike and moved just like I imagined how a T-Rex would. Around the cafe, there were even more animatronics of velociraptors, and they roared and moved. It was pretty scary. There were really cool animations which showed how these dinosaurs moved. One of the first things that separated dinosaurs from their other reptiles of the time, in particular the archosaurs, to which they are very closely related, was the way their hip bones and thighs were joined, effectively allowing them to stand upright. If you look at crocodiles, which was the other lasting branch of archosaurs, and more classic reptiles like lizards, their limbs are splayed out to the sides, and they walk in a very side-to-side way. This causes a problem called carrier's constraint, as the side-to-side motion causes one lung to compress, and this can make it hard to breathe and walk at the same time. The fact that dinosaurs didn't have this problem was a huge plus for them during the end Triassic extinction, when oxygen was much, much lower. This is an iguanodon hand, and although iguanodon had a fearsome thumb spike, its hand was mainly adapted for life as a peaceful plant eater. There was some small kind of tyrannosaurid on the ceiling, and a troodon with beaming alien-like eyes next to an oviraptor. There was a handful of dinosaur leg bones, like this iguanodon thigh. The smaller bone here is from a Hypsilus spinus, the larger from an iguanodon. Then I saw this absolutely huge Apatosaurus thigh bone. It was just incredible. What you're about to see is part of the chest and right arm of an Edmontosaurus, showing fossilized skin. Even the folds and wrinkles have been preserved. That's insane. It is kind of hard to film some of these dinosaurs because they're on the ceiling, but this Allosaurid looks amazing. There was this wee board that showed the evolution of Earth's continents all the way from Pangaea to the Cretaceous period. Oh, and not to mention there was a lurking Massospondylus on the ceiling, which was a rather, let's say, obscure-looking dinosaur. Towards the end of the dinosaur section, the coolest animals came to life. I saw a huge Triceratops skeleton, and it was simply amazing. Then I saw the medium-sized Jurassic Camarasaurus. Even though Camarasaurus is one of the most common sauropods, I've never seen it in my life. Now, feast your eyes on the most complete meat-eating dinosaur found in Europe this century, Baryonyx. Missing bones and bone pieces have been modeled here to reconstruct the entire left side of the skeleton. Unlike most meat-eaters, Baryonyx has a long, low, crocodile-like skull and very powerful arms equipped with large claws. There was also a tribute to all the old paleontologists, which helped reconstruct dinosaurs as they are today. This showcased what they looked like in the 1900s and late 1800s. As if this museum couldn't get any more awesome, there was an entire section on sauropods and titanosaurs, and it showcased the fourth biggest sauropod in the world, Patagotitan. For comparison, just so you know how big this thing was, its thigh was way bigger than me. Look at these legs! Imagine how people felt after discovering this, like, what? And are you telling me we have fossilized skin from this thing? Yes. This fossilized imprint, discovered in 1852, was the very first evidence that sauropods had scaly skin. The imprint formed when the bumpy surface of a dinosaur's skin was pressed into soft ground. The ground then fossilized and was found millions of years later. That seems pretty plausible, but think, it could also be easy to fake. Now, get ready to see the coolest thing that I ever did see today, because I see a lot of cool things every day. It was in 2008 when an elderly shepherd found a 2.4 meter long / 8 foot thigh bone protruding from a rocky outcrop on the farm where he worked in Patagonia. By the time a team of paleontologists arrived extracting the fossil, Orlando Hernandez had died without knowing that he discovered one of the biggest dinosaurs ever known. A series of 7 field expeditions were completed from 2013 to 2015, yielding more than 200 fossilized bones from a variety of sauropods and theropods. Around 130 of the bones came from a total of 6 partial Patagotitan skeletons. 57 sharp teeth were found among Patagotitan's bones. They were from Tyrannotitan, which happened to rip out multiple of its teeth from even trying to bite into this thing. One of my favourite fossils from this museum is the Coelophysis, which is curled up in a death position. I should probably mention that they had a collection of Cenozoic animals as well, like Smilodon, Dryptodon, and also the biggest and baddest, Mastodon. The Cenozoic will be for another time, in a galaxy far, far away. Anyway, goodbye.